So let's take a little stroll down memory lane here. It wasn't very long ago, but do you remember when the Clinton campaign accused Sanders of hacking their servers, and then we learned out that it never even happened? I'm not being facetious. Do you remember? Fool me once. Like I say, I really think she's following the neocon playbook here, and just doesn't really realize that all it really does is make her look weak on national security. Remember, Clinton's logic around this is likely, this worked in the primary, so let's do it again. It's just utter pure pragmatism. While people were calling them out on their dirty tricks, the campaign turned around and promoted the people responsible because the conclusion was that they were successful. I don't want to come off, I don't want to come across as some moral absolutist or something. I don't really believe in morals either, but I do believe in altruism, and I mean, there's just no concept of it here, right? It's just total. It's a total master morality. I don't want to use the term nihilism, although normally when the term nihilism is thrown around, it does refer to the idea of master morality. That's not technically what nihilism is, right? But that's what we're getting out of her, right? I'm actually a little bit more likely to kind of shrug that off than a lot of the people that are on the left base, who are, like I say, if we understand the progressive movement as something that's fundamentally Christian, or fundamentally religious, anyways, and let's be honest, it's a fundamentally Christian movement, progressivism in the United States. This, playing fast and loose with moral concepts is probably a big part of the reason why people are just so revolted by her, right? The fact that she has no moral basis, right? I mean, we can you might. So you want to talk about homosexuality, for example, right? Conservatives will argue that homosexuality is immoral, whereas Christian progressives will argue that oppressing people through their sexual orientation, which is not their choice because God determined it for them, is oppressive, right? So they're both appealing to morality. They're just disagreeing on what the morality is, right? And so you'll hear it from Republicans all the time. This person's immoral. You don't tend to hear it from Democrats because they tend to be more nihilist about that kind of thing. But at the same time, they have a secular humanist morality, right? Their morality is based on logic and altruism, right? So I mean, okay, so yeah, I do have a sense of morality, but it's rooted in humanism, which is different than the Christian progressive morality, right? But it's just it doesn't exist in Clinton. She's really just removed a whole new level and exists really more in the realm of the libertarian right when you start talking about concepts of morality. But it's weird because it actually is overlapping with a certain branch of Christianity. It's something that it's something that I understand as quintessentially American. As a Canadian, I don't really truly understand it, right? And I'm throwing around all these words and trying to categorize something that I really don't have any experience of, right? But with this particularly, they lied and it worked, so they'll lie again, right? The fact that they got caught lying doesn't mean anything. The fact that there's something wrong with lying doesn't register. It's just, this worked, we'll do it again, right? The people that will tell you that she is the embodiment of Wall Street corruption are not just throwing rhetoric at you. I mean, this is the culture, right? And it's maybe unfair to blame the whole thing on one person, sure. It's America as a whole is lost right now in a culture of randian objectivism. It's just that this is the first time we've really seen it kind of boil over with the Democrats, right? It got pretty bad under Bush for a while, right? and Obama seemed to kind of be straddling a line. In a real sense, Clinton is a return to, the Bush era, in the sense that, it doesn't matter what's true, it matters what people think is true. It's Clinton's campaign is going to be more Rovian than Bush's. So it's not just her, she's a product of her era. In fact, where did this come from? She was taking notes, right? Of course, it's not like the other guy's any better, right? I'm just pointing out that, one, even on something like this, you can't trust her. She tells you the Russians hacked into her servers, and you don't immediately believe her. You would think that's the kind of thing that a presidential candidate should be able to say without people doubting her. But the reason people doubt her is because she has a history of dishonesty, right? And the second thing is that I don't think the strategy of working voters up against Russia, which is a paper threat at best, Russia is no serious threat to anybody, okay, is going to be successful. It's not just that what's in the emails is being ignored. You'd think somebody would get fired, but the people responsible are getting promoted. It's almost like it was an excuse for her to resign. That's W. Wasserman Schultz to resign, so she could move to the campaign. They didn't want her to just quit and move to the campaign because that would look corrupt, right? She was working for her the whole time. She just resigned and moved over. They didn't want that, so instead they came up with a reason why she was pushed out. And then, Clinton comes in and says, hey buddy, come work for us. Now I know people's brains are going to explode, right? They couldn't imagine that. But that's actually, if I was to guess, that's my best guess is what was happening. This whole thing was orchestrated as a way to pull W. Wasserman Schultz out of the DNC and pull her into the Clinton campaign. Meaning they actually floated. They're I think I just said what I meant to say, right? We don't need to repeat this for emphasis, right? But it seems more like they're bragging about how corrupt they are than that they're doing anything to address it. So there's something else going on here. I pointed out before that, is it plausible that Russia hacked into the emails, hacked into her servers and stole the email information? Sure, it's plausible. But you're going to have to give me a better source than Hillary Clinton if you want me to actually believe it.